Hi, I'm Koenigsegg. I'd like to show you a new car, the Regera. This is the first time we make a car which is not only focused on maximum performance. Here we have allowed the car to be a little bit heavier, even though it's really light still, lighter than most of these hybrid hypercars. But here we have really a lot of sound insulation. The engine and transmission is actively mounted on active rubber mounts. This body comes with full hydraulic operation, so you don't even need to open and close the doors by hand on the production version. We have a top-mounted active rear wing that is fully foldable this time to make it elegant when parking, and when you cruise on the highway you have a little bit less fuel consumption when you don't need the downforce. I will now act as the hydraulics here, so it will go up like this. So it's the world's first top-mounted, fully foldable active rear wing. Quite interesting. We have an enormous Venturi tunnel at the back to compensate for the fact to have quite small wing. So in total, even though it's a very elegant and not racing looking type of car, it has 450 kilos of downforce at 250 kilometers per hour. So it's still really extreme downforce, and it's light still. The dry weight is just over 1400 kilos, and the total weight with full of fuel and everything in one passenger is just over 1600. So it's still lighter than some of these hybrid hypercars. It is also in a sense a hybrid, even though I'm not very happy about the traditional hybrids, as they are compromised either in efficiency in a series hybrid, or they're compromised in complexity and weight with parallel hybrids when you have transmission lefts and all of this. So here we came up with a solution where we could remove complete transmission but still obtain direct drive from the engine to the rear wheels. So for example, when you drive on the highway, on the open roads, you don't need to run the electric, so you can run combustion engine, final drive unit to the wheels with no transmission losses because they're gone. So it's about 5% more efficient in that sense. Then we have 1100 combustion engine horsepower plus 700 electrical motor horsepower, and you would think this would total 1800, but it doesn't, because the power peaks are spread out in the speed range, if you so wish, of the car. So the electrical motors do most of the work in the beginning, the combustion engine do most of the work in the end, and they overlap. So the peaks are not on top of each other but next to each other. So the peak in between the peaks, the combined highest point around 6000 RPM is 1500 horsepower. We have a huge torque swell during the speed range of the car. So at 2500 RPM of the combustion engine, we have 2000 Newton meter all the way to 7000 RPM with a peak of around 2300 Newton meters around 5000 RPM. So given all this massive torque, the wide torque band, the massive power, we don't need gears. So this is a direct drive car. So it means that at any speed, at any engine RPM, you have massive power, either because of the massive power of the combustion engine, or at lower speeds due to the massive power of the electrical motors, and they always work together. The only time they don't work together is when you drive really slowly, then the engine is decoupled not to stall, and then you reverse electrically and you accelerate slow or fast up to around 30 kilometers per hour, purely electric, and then the combustion engine is phased in and locked up as soon as it can have over 600 RPM. So given the fact that you cannot rev the engine when driving without decoupling the engine, to make it really exciting noise-wise, we developed a new type of exhaust system with Akrapovic, with fishtail design. So this makes a resonance, so when you put power to the engine, even at low RPM, it sounds like double or triple the RPM because of the resonance of the exhaust system. So when you power down, it will sound like the rev goes up and you have this nice metallic sound. The center exhaust is not an exhaust. It is an exhaust, but not for emissions from the engine. It's coming hot air from the electrical inverters and electrical motor coolers and so on. So it's jokingly an electric engine exhaust and it will blow hot air there.
Yeah, cool.
So we have new carbon fiber wheels, again air core, hollow spoke, our speciality.
Exactly,
we took the technology from the from the Regera range wheel, and then we took inspiration from the original CC8S model, which was our first production car. What you see behind me here is chassis number 2 from 2002.
Really?
So this is a 12, 13-year-old car, and just to show where we came from, and that even back then, as a new company with our first car, it was still a spectacularly interesting car. At the time, as you can see on the floor here, we got the Guinness World Record for the most powerful production car ever, homologated production car. It was 655 horsepower, and people thought it was insane. It was too much. It must be undrivable. Today, as everyone knows, an AMG Mercedes E-Class can have more power. So things have really changed. And with the 1500 horsepower on this car, that's considered, of course, to be totally crazy. But it's fully drivable, and we actually need it as we don't have any gears. We have the Regera RS over here. It's got 1160 horsepower on normal 95 octane pump gas. It is as fast in almost any condition in a straight line as the 1500 horsepower car because you have the help of gears. It is 150 kilos lighter, it's got more downforce, so it's faster around racetrack. But that car is faster accelerating on the normal road, and is even more responsive because of the electrical motors.
I heard 0 to 400 in under 20 or something crazy like that?
Correct.
Wow.
So it's more like a highway rocket, luxury highway rocket, but it handles fantastically on the racetrack as well. It's just that is lighter, more downforce, and even faster around the racetrack. It's not that it's not a racetrack car, it's just focused different. I will show you something interesting here. We have a new type of infotainment system.
Yeah, I saw the screen reminiscing a bit of a Tesla.
Right. It's really cool. The recorder. Because you can even have gloves, racing gloves on. It's an infrared net 1 millimeter above the screen, so there is no capacitive touch that takes away the blackness of the screen. It's just glass with infrared light over, so you can use anything to use it. It's a Swedish company called Neonode that invented this technology. So it's really, really nice, actually.
And Mate Rimac also helped you with the batteries, I understand?
Yes, so in the center tunnel here we have a 9.24 kilowatt battery pack custom made for us by Rimac. It's a fully flooded system, so you have absolute optimal cooling as all the cells are enclosed in a liquid, a 3M type liquid. As the center tunnel is wider, we had to change the footwell of the chassis as well to have enough space for the feet, and it's really good, so we made it wider to the sides.
And with those beautiful machine pedals.
Yes, exactly. So it's actually even in many ways a new chassis. The seats are electric. These carbon seats have 6-way electrically adjustable from the screen. They only weigh 15.9 kilos with full electrics. So again, really? It's a penalty of maybe 2 kilos per seat, but they're super light anyway, and you have that luxury memory.
Super comfortable. They seem super comfortable.
Memory function.
Do you use the same foam that in the one-to-one?
Not on this first car, but we plan to.
Great. Well, thank you very much, and congrats on this amazing car.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is the new Koenigsegg